Hey guys, so I'm doing my pack shakedown and I'm starting off with, in no particular order, this is the hat that I started out trekking with. I thought I'd really like it because, well, it served me well in the garden, but also it doesn't have a back, so I thought that that would be great for like with my pack being right there. But the brim was just too wide. It stretches my bug net that goes over my head a little too much, so that it makes it a little inefficient. Like it would like press the bug net like against like my face while I had it because it's so big. And also when I'd be going uphill and I'm looking up, my pack would push my hat like, so it was like that, which was really annoying. And also it's technically made out of paper and I was really afraid of it getting rained on. Now it's still a great hat for like, in the garden and stuff. But with the brim being so wide and just everything about it, like I thought that maybe it'd be good to replace it. And then Randy and I were at the Walmart in the clearance section and we got twinsy hats. They're $7 and I'll have to find the scale, but we feel these, like this one's much lighter already. And it has the mesh on top that is lighter in it.
Yeah.
But I mean by like a bit, but every little bit adds up. And we got one for me and one for Randy.
Talk about
the
modifications needed.
I don't, because I was admiring my friend Lara's hat, but I found one similar to it on REI and it's like $60. And this is much more in my realm of what I like spending on stuff. So I was going to try to see if I couldn't put like a snap or something here on the back. That way I could have it snapped up when I'm backpacking. And then when we're out, I don't know, like if it needs to come down, it's a $7 hat. Like I'm not afraid to make a modification to it. So we'll see how that goes. Though there is a part of me that's like very afraid this is going to be my favorite hat in the whole wide world and I'll never be able to find them ever again. So already we've upgraded and replaced, but just having the narrower brim too, I think is going to be really helpful because that was impeding my peripheral vision so much. The next thing that I wore every single day, I didn't even pack this away. I brought for the 4-day trip, and I'll have to text my friend who was the guide. I don't know if we did 18.4 or 18.7. We did a little over 18 miles over the 4 days. This does smell funny. I kind of like it, but it's horrible. It's like that cheese that tastes real good with raw onions, but it smells like somebody's old feet. That's my new aesthetic. But it's like a rash guard, but it's a UPF shirt that has a kangaroo pocket, and it already has like holes, and I'm wearing through the fabric on the hands, and I've done wrecked it. I've had it for like
shirt though.
It is. It's like a 3-year-old shirt, but like, stuff like this,
I
it's
smell it from over here.
Yeah, can you? I don't know, to me that's a really happy smell. It's just super strong of like citronella and wood smoke and unwashed hippies and but this is going to be something that I'm going to need to replace. If I could, it was 13 ounces. And I've already found similar styles of shirts because it was essential to me to have that kangaroo pocket because that gave me a place that was easily accessible to carry another water bottle because I wasn't using a camelback or anything like that had like a hose that came around. So being able to just reach into my front pouch and drink my water and then put it back, as well as during camp setup and tear down, having some place to put my stakes and my tree straps as I was setting up and tearing down my hammock. Well, hey, pretty kitty. Was really, really nice. So that's what I'm keeping an eye out for in future shirts. And here at home, I don't use the hood. Out on the trail, I definitely used the hood. It kept the sun and bugs off the back of my neck, all sorts of stuff. It was really nice to have just that extra little bit there. But 13 ounces is pretty heavy, and I think I've put this one through its paces. So there is that. Also, I wore socks. I brought 4 pairs of socks and I ended up wearing all of them. On days 1 and 2, I only wore 1 pair of socks. These are Danish Endurance. I also have a pair of like Darn Tough socks, but I didn't wear those this weekend because they've shrunk quite a bit in the wash. I don't think I've been washing them properly. Yeah, there's all of this stuff. Yeah. But that smell brings back some very fond memories of wandering around through the woods. But on days 1 and 2, I only wore a single layer of socks. And then on days 2 and 4, I actually doubled up, and that really helped with the discomfort I was experiencing in my feet. But I'm very, very pleased with these Danish Endurance socks, which honestly I knew that I would be because they're what I wear when we walk and hike and stuff here at home. I knew that they'd keep my feet warm and that they'd hold up well to my swampy duck feet. But yeah, I did also just get in the hunting section at Walmart actually some really nice, what I think are going to be my sleepy socks. Super plush, thick, sexy socks. So they're almost knee highs, Randy. Sorry. So those were great. And then of course my shoes. These are VASQUE brand. I don't know how to pronounce that. But they held up phenomenally, as they do. They handle my sweaty duck feet really, really well. But it is time. Like, even my friend Laura, who was our guide for this trip, who was a phenomenal guide, by the way, was like, yeah, your insoles are getting... I've been walking on these insoles for like 2 years. It's time to replace them. There's no, like... They're sad. So that was something that we went ahead and got, because on after doing 3 miles on the first day, which admittedly is not that much, but it is well out of my comfort zone of existing. The second day we did 6.7 miles, and that really almost broke me. Like, I was hurting pretty bad. And it was on the, like, this side of my foot. If like there was like a rock and I stepped on it, like right here, not on this foot, but on the other one, it hurt so bad. And Laura suggested new and improved insoles might be a really good idea. So these guys have plantar fascia support, so it'll support that tendon in your arch. I know that I don't pronounce stuff correctly, but I am trying, y'all. So new inserts, so we'll see how that goes. We'll test those out. Oh, they don't really go all the way down into the toe though, the way that these guys...
You wanted little
I know
inserts.
Well, can I use both?
Oh.
I don't know. They were like $7. We'll figure it out. You know?
Mm-hmm.
But I may just do this. We'll see. But that was something that, other than the insoles, these shoes were perfect. I did get some blisters. I did get some blisters on my heels that blistered, split open, re-blistered, and then split open again. And then some blisters that just didn't split open at all, which was really nice because they're actually healing up pretty quickly. But yeah, shoes did great, and I don't think the blistering was a result of like any problem with my shoes. I think I'm just a tenderfoot. You can't go from being like almost completely sedentary to hiking almost 7 miles in a day and not getting blisters. Like, I'm not surprised. I'm actually surprised that they weren't worse. So also, my number one, maybe, I don't know, everything's my number one favorite luxury. This was a really nice luxury. I felt kind of silly at first because everybody else was like, I just sit on the ground and get my butt wet. And I'm like, but the third night by the fire where we were on some like really kind of damp, loamy soil, it was really nice to be able to spread this out, which is just like reflective material from those windshield covers for like inside your car. But I was able to lay this out and then lay on my side on the ground by the fire and be very, very comfortable. Like, this was definitely worth it. And then whenever I'm sitting and cooking, I just fold it over like this. And I'm really glad I did that because I'd show you guys, but not today. I have a giant bruise. It's actually not that big. It's like this big, but it is the worst bruise I've had probably in my adult life, from kind of falling out of my hammock, but I was in my hammock, but it fell. And then like this like fingerling sized tree stump just stabbed me in the booty. It jumped up and bit me. And so this was really nice to avoid getting like thorns in my butt or splinters or just little rocks poking me. Existing is uncomfortable enough. I'm fine with bringing some padding from my booty. And then also, before we even get into the pack, my trekking poles were perfect. Absolutely love that it has a selfie stick, though I did miss having a posable tripod. I think next time I may allow for the weight. Sorry, Randy's hanging out with me in the background, the Randy Squatches, and he's holding our little Callie cat, and she is just loving it. Like, she's upside down right now. She's super cute. But the trekking poles were perfect and totally, completely essential to my existence when I'm backpacking. And then this cotton scarf is like the best thing ever. I've used it for putting on the ground to keep the dirt off of my feet while I'm cleaning them. I was very worried about, I don't want to get any like skin infections or anything on my legs and feet from being outside, so I would put this down and then kind of lay out my stuff on top of it, as well as it was a nice shawl around my shoulders in the mornings and evenings, as well as just keeping the bugs off of me, as well as a little bit of a sweat towel, as well as I wear it on my head at night when I sleep. Amazing. I love it. So very, very happy with that. So now we're going to start getting into the pack. One thing that we got at the Walmart yesterday, is we did get 50 feet of, I needed a different cord for my bear bag. It was very nice that Laura, as the guide, provided the bear bag, the complimentary bear bag services, but my rope that I had first was OD green, which blends in perfectly with nature, actually. So it's really hard to find. I found out. So a bright neon orange bear bag line I think will be very nice. Also having the full 50 feet will be also very nice. So we went ahead and invested in that. On the outside of my pack we have, and I kept my my seat like right here, just compressed down. The tarp worked perfectly. Like, I was really excited about that. It didn't rain on us, which I don't know if I'm glad or like kind of bummed out that we didn't get rained on, but then the rain that we did get, you'll see it like in the vlog. I'm really glad we weren't camping in that rain, actually. That was pretty wicked rough. Like, but the tarp was perfect. That I was afraid that maybe because I'd upsized from a 9-foot square tarp to a, like, what is this? I don't remember how big this is. There'll be a link down below. But I was afraid that I'd gone too big with it. It was perfect. It was a really great size. It fit my hammock well. I'm glad. The snakeskin, everything, the tie-outs, all the thought that went into this seemed to have worked out perfectly. And I really liked having it in its stuff set. Huh?
Super quick to set up.
It was very quick to set up. I was able to get my tarp and hammock up with a bit of lollygagging in about 13 minutes. Which is not a bad, and with the use of the trekking poles, I was able to have it be in like a porch mode, which was really nice for getting to like sit in my hammock and watch the moon rise over the lake and stuff. So that was really cool. I had this little thing, and on the day that we thought it was going to rain, I had my rain gear held on the outside of my pack with this. I had carabinered it on, like it was clipped, but I like stuff not flopping around. So having this like bungee style hair tie is always nice. Main thing that I did not use, I thought I would use this footprint more. I didn't. It's anything that can be accomplished with this for keeping like my pack dry this is a redundancy to this, and this is much nicer. So I'm not going to bother bringing this next time. So
Banishment pile.
Yeah, banishment pile, because I want to weigh that, like the pile that I'm going to make of all the stuff that we're not going to be bringing next time, and see how much I have a goal to cut my pack weight down by 15 pounds. I'm not giving myself a time frame because money, but that's a goal of mine, is to see if I can shave 15 pounds, and maybe not 15 off the base weight, but just if I can be going out with a 30-pound pack instead of a 45-pound pack, that'd be really cool. So we'll see. Potty bag, everything in it was perfect. I actually ran out of toilet paper on like the morning of the 3rd day, but had more wet wipes. This was my pee rag, which was perfect because I pee probably every 20 minutes if I can manage it. That's an exaggeration. I pee like once a day when I'm on the trail. I was not hydrating enough. But it's nice to have. I prefer toilet paper. This was a nice backup, but it's filthy, so I need to wash that. But yeah, and it was just, that's my dirty bag. We've got the wet ones, the body powder, which I really like that body powder. Nothing will put a pep in your step like a minty body powder. This was the Deuce number 2 ultralight trowel by the Tent Lab, and it's for digging a hole, which it was our lunch break on, I think, the 3rd day, and I was coming back from digging a hole, and there were 2 gentlemen on the trail walking by, and I had like emerged very like disheveled from the woods, running from the scene of the crime. And one of the gentlemen, because I just stuffed my hands into the pockets of my pouch, and he was like, "Hey, are you hunting for mushrooms?" Like, "Oh, this is so cool, somebody doing something." And I was like, "Nah, I was pooping." And I was like, "No, I'm just digging a hole." Like, walked hurriedly by, like, "I'm sorry, I'm not being interesting, I'm just shitting in the woods." So I had brought 2 battery packs because I was tracking my vlogging habits when I'm at home and seeing how much of a charge I would need to replenish over a 4-day backpacking trip. I do not vlog nearly as much when I'm on a backpacking trip as what I do here at home, obviously. So next time I'm only going to carry 1. I think will be her little paws. She's touching his beard, you guys. Oh my gosh. That's the cutest. But I think I'm only going to bring 1 of the battery packs. Let's see what their charge is at. Because I wonder if the cold... This one's at 65. And this one's at 93. I think I'd accidentally plugged into this one instead of this one on the 4th day. But I did not need these are like 12 ounces. I could have saved myself the weight. So, but it's also really nice to have that... my phone was not gonna die. Like, that reassurance of...
At that pace, nobody's phone was gonna die.
Yeah, because there were... Laura has her solar charger, and I think the other 2 guys had their own battery packs as well. So, my little bag of tent stakes, using the Groundhog Minis with their... about 5 to 6 feet of guy line attached to it. This worked, just perfectly. And I really couldn't be more pleased with the research that I had done with Outdoor Adventures, and I'm trying to remember. There were a couple of different YouTubers that I watched a ton of their videos on hammock tarp setup and stuff, and it paid off. It went really well, and I'm very grateful for that. Okay, that pocket's empty. That pocket's empty. For my water setup, I used 2 2-liter or 2 1-liter smart water bottles. You can kind of see it's a bit murky, but it's good river water. Like, we filtered it with Laura's gravity-fed like platypus filter, and it did a really good job. But I used 2 of those, and I used 2 of the 700 milliliter smart water bottles like kind of the smaller ones. And only one of them I used for putting like flavor packets in for like just drinking and making sure I'm keeping my electrolytes up, because I sweated nonstop for 4 days basically. If I was moving, I was sweating. But I didn't want, like, so I had 3 clean bottles and then one that had the powder in it, which worked out just fine. Oof, freezing this down. My backpack has the shaped hip belts, but it does not have pockets on the hip belt, so you can kind of see right here. I did add, this is like a 2-ounce thing. I could do with something lighter, but it let me fit another smart water bottle, and I would kind of really like to be able to put one of these on the other side as well, because you don't necessarily have to put water in it, but it does like adjust down. But it was just, it's really freaking hard to fit one of these tall bottles into this side pocket when these pouches are full, and there is a train. So this was a really nice use of space, and as wide as I am, I did not even notice that they were there. Like, I was afraid they'd be in the way of my elbows or something. That was not the case. So, but yeah, again, the smart water bottles, having 4 smart water bottles still was 6 ounces lighter than carrying my 1 water bladder. And I know that's only 6 ounces, but this stuff, it really starts to add up. So, I mean, if you can shave just a bit off of each of your pack elements, I mean, I feel like that's a pretty good thing. This was my sock pouch, which if I were... On the last day, I actually apparently put my tree straps in there, which I think is actually a much better route, because I did get worried that I was like, if it rains, these socks are not being protected from the moisture at all. And so I think I may just save this for more setup stuff, because it's really nice to not have to break to the inside of my pack to, oh gosh, these are beefy. Damn, I got some stinky feet. It's really nice to not have to break into my pack to set up my tent and stuff. So, what's up here? Okay, up here we have my Sawyer Squeeze, which I actually did not use at all. Lara was a fantastic guide and completely took care of all of the water purposes, but it was really nice to have a redundancy on hand just in case. As far as my first aid kit, fortunately I did not need to use anything in it other than I used literally every single bit of the painkillers that I brought, and all of my moleskin. I had tried using some moleskin on myself, but it was a waste of product. Like, my feet were so wet from nothing. Even, Randy, even the Next Care tape would not stick to my feet. Yeah, it was like, you know, moist from Dr. Like, what was that?
Dr. Horrible's
sing-along vlog. Yeah, I'm like moist, but with like feet. It's horrible. It's my superpower. But that worked out, like, because one of the other party members needed a lot of moleskin. I did not use this extra shock cord, but my thought process of having it on hand that I may do in the future just to keep my rain gear on the outside. And I didn't know that you could do this, but I'm still going to keep the carboners because I like using those for attaching my bags to my ridge line when I'm set up at night. But, like, let's say you put this like this on the thing, and then I can actually go through the loops and the straps and start lacing it on like I'm tying a shoe. But do you see? Like, I can really strap stuff down, and that's just it being halfway strapped. So I think that may be how I attach my rain gear in the future. Just because that would be a lot more stable than this hair tie. But live and learn. And I don't know, I get weird kicks out of just doing, unconventional things with hair ties, I guess. Like, it pleases me immensely if I can accomplish something with a hair tie. I don't know why. So I also had my, oh, there's a leaf. And there is some more hygiene stuff. I did not use these. They are the rubber tips to my trekking poles. And I don't know, in 2 backpacking trips now, I have not used them. Just because, I mean, it's so loamy that, like, the trail is all, like, soft and dirt and soil and leaves and stuff, that even if there are, like, a couple of rocks, like, it doesn't really justify, I don't know. But it's kind of like, I may still keep them in with my med kit for just in case but I think this is much more appropriate for, like, whenever you're above the tree line or something. Like, I don't know. A little bit of extra rope, super lightweight stuff. I did not use this, but I'm still going to keep it in my pack. This, just because I really like the security of having a little bit of extra rope in case my ridgeline breaks, or in case I need to extend my ridgeline. That was the main thought process with this, is that if I needed to, I mean, this wouldn't support me in my hammock, but it would extend the length for my tarp if I needed to. So I don't think I need these binder clips. I used one of them to pin back a part, like I'd rolled it up and then binder clipped it back. That was unessential. Like, so I'm gonna scratch the binder clips fairly well. Okay. So those are empty pockets on the outside. Let's see, what do we got up in my brain? Not much. Okay, so I brought this towel and completely didn't use it at all. Not even once. I didn't even think about using it. I kind of feel like if I had prioritized taking bird baths, but since I wasn't the one filtering my own water, I wasn't about to be like, hey Laura, let me use some of this water you worked so hard to get and filter to wash my stinky body that's just going to still smell bad afterwards. And this is a pretty big towel, I feel like, to just carry and then not use. And I figured I could probably use my big scarf. Like, I don't know. I'm not getting rid of it, not at all, but I may set it aside for whenever we're car camping. Or, like, you know, swimming or something. So there's that. That's all I had in that top bit. And now here on the inside, this is a lot of fun. I understand that this probably is not nearly as interesting to everyone else as it is to me, but I could sit here and touch and talk about and look at all of my camping gear all the ding dong day and not get bored even once. Oh, I found it! Oh, I had looked everywhere on day 4 for this stinking Nutella spread because I was gonna have a Nutella peanut butter burrito with honey. It was gonna be my day 4 treat, and I was like, where did it go? For like 40 minutes, I searched through my shit for lunch, trying to find this. I'm so happy. I'll eat you one day. Okay, so there's that. And then some gummy worms. And then some drink mix, which I only used like half of it. But if I don't take things out of my pack and put it directly on my body, like in my leggings pockets, then it doesn't get used. Because I'm so busy just trying to not die while hiking that it didn't even occur to me. But I'm glad that I had these because it really helped make some of the first lake water that we had gotten was pretty lakey. Like, it was really nice to have it be like watermelon lake flavored. And then this was Laura, as our guide, was very good in providing us the map that I didn't look at a single time, but now I can use it for journaling and scrapbooking purposes. So, because it has our itinerary, it has, in the Avid Hiker, the itinerary, it had the whole thing as 2 days. I couldn't have done that in 2 days, I don't think. Like a 24-mile trek over 2 days. I could not have done that. Not currently. Well, honestly, I'm going to say I maybe could have, but I would have been hurting a lot worse, and I wouldn't have had nearly as good of a time. So, I don't want to limit myself. I super duper surprised myself by being able to complete all 18 miles. Like, that is not... Whew, that was a challenge, but I did it. I actually freaking did it. So, I'm going to try to stop saying, well, I can't do that. It's like, well, I haven't done that before. So, and an alarm was going off on my phone. Okay, so that's, wow. Oh, and I had brought, hopefully I will never, ever, ever have to use these, but I do like bringing my backup glasses, because if a lens pops out, I am screwed. I'm so blind, you guys. So it's, hopefully I will never in my life have to use these, but I will always carry them with me, because if I can't see, I'm going to get hurt. Because I can't see well enough to walk. Like if it's like a flat room, I'll be mostly okay. Like I may still like run into stuff, or like mostly like bumping into doors. It's a depth perception thing. Or like if there's like shelves, like I hit my head more if I don't have my glasses on.
You won't be able to see the tree root sticking out of the ground.
Right, and that's what I was thinking, is that it's like I can't be taking risks. So I didn't have to use those, fortunately. Yay! But that is like the biggest thing. I used up all of my toilet paper. I'll need to refill that. I loved my spoon. It tasted like tacos the whole time. Because the first night, like I boiled it to clean it, and it makes everything taste like tacos. So I had maple and walnut taco oatmeal in the morning. This was really nice. I only used it a bit, so I don't know if I'll bring it again. This is like, I don't know. Should I bring it? It smells like camping. Do you want to sniff it?
No.
It didn't smell like bad though. It just smells like memories. I love that smell. It's like citronella, bug spray, and wood smoke.
I am okay, thank you.
It's such a happy smell. Like, I'm sad. I miss backpacking already. My feet hurt. All of me hurts, but I miss it already. Okay, I did not use this. I did sit on it once because my butt was hurting. And it's thicker. But I used my other cozy. So, yeah, I predominantly used the cozy that goes with my cook gear. Is I made my stuff and put it in there and put the lid on it, mostly for breakfast, honestly, because I get my oatmeal going, and then I break down my camp, and then so I have it in there so that the oatmeal's still hot whenever I come back. But I don't even know how essential that is. It just is kind of nice, if that makes sense. But yeah, the cook kit was perfect. The fuel actually lasted me, and there's still enough in there for me to probably do 1 or 2 more cups of tea. So really, really surprised by that. Unnecessary stuff sack for my bug head net. Like, okay, this is where we get into the personal stuff that I almost used up all, oh, and it didn't close very well. I'm glad I had it in the bag. I almost used up all of the vitamin E oil that I had brought with me for giving myself foot massages, for treating my sunburn on my face, which wasn't that bad, but also for keeping my psoriasis and stuff under control. These guys, again, I would have used with the towel if I had prioritized bathing. What?
If you washed.
If I had washed my stinky self. That smells really nice. I did open the soap and sniff it a few times just to smell something nice. just a whiff of the slightly more civilized world. It's like I felt like Samwise Gamgee whenever he was carrying that little wooden box of spices and salt from home, and Frodo was like, "You've carried that all this way," or one of them was, and he was like, "Well, yeah, it's home.
It's clean.
It's clean."
I mean, I'm not going to take that.
I'm not going to use it. That's ridiculous. But no, it would have been really nice to have actually been able to bathe. But these did go unused. I did use my nail treatment twice a day. A better journal. Like, I honestly didn't think that I would journal, but then I did, and I was wishing I had a better journal, because I had to, like, use my phone as a clipboard and be like, like, it was very uncomfortable to write on. But I did use it. I didn't use nearly as many dental flosses and Q-tips as what I would have liked, but I will tell you, sitting down and doing hygiene before bed was a huge morale booster. Like, just doing something that felt like not punishing my body for existing was really nice. There's a bit of trash. I didn't have to clip any of my nails, but I did use the cat claw attachment on these nail clippers to clean my nails again before bed, which, considering I have quite a few detached, like a lifted nail beds, it was really nice to be able to get in there and clean. Didn't use these guys. Yeah. It just more menstrual products. It's like I brought probably enough for 10 people to menstruate at the same time, and then didn't use any but like one of them. In the dark at night, it was like 2 or 3 in the morning, and a fox, a vixen, went by, and about, it probably wasn't as close as what I thought, but it felt like it was like 3 feet away from where I was in my hammock. She did her vixen scream, marking her territory, which terrified me to my core, because I didn't even know that that was a thing, first off. And second off, it was really freaking loud, out of nowhere, in the middle of the night. It was completely dark. It's terrifying. I was terrified, okay? But I do not like being blind and deaf, which in the dark of night, I feel pretty blind. And so even if there's obnoxious snoring or anything like that, I do not use earplugs, because it just feels like I'm setting myself in a dark forest full of things that might be interested in, like, consuming either me or my gear. And I just like to be able to be aware. And I feel like earplugs is just not for me. I didn't even think about using them the whole time, so I don't think I'm going to bring these guys next time. Another empty pill packet. I seriously took all of my pain medication. I love my little Minion toothbrush. He's perfect, and I like my Sensodyne toothpaste, but I am going to try to only bring like this much toothpaste next time. So just because, again, if I could cut the weight of everything in my pack by half, that would be pretty neat. And the stuff sack was pretty cool. I like that it has these loops on it, because I can attach it to a carabiner, but if you open it that way, then everything falls out. But I also attached it to a carabiner from this loop, and it was just really nice to be able to hang everything. I am going to keep these with me in the pack just for sniffing, I suppose.
Do you need the vitamin E oil in here?
I'm going to go through and kind of refill. I'm actually going to try to see if I can find a better, smaller, lighter bottle for it that doesn't leak. But I'm going to be going back through this stuff privately later, probably. This was the rope that I used, which I actually ended up making my non-structural ridgeline on the third night that I hung all my stuff from, and that worked out pretty well. So, good rope for that.
That's not the rope you used to hang your bareback?
It was, also. Which I almost lost. So, this is some of the food that I had left over. I brought way too much food was the main thing. Like I really did. This is my rain gear. I didn't use it. That's great. But I always bring it. Always bring it. Which that was something that came to my attention, is that I need a bigger pack cover, because the pack cover that comes with this backpack covers it when it's empty. But if you have anything strapped to the outside, or it's big and bulky, like it does not give it full coverage. And Laura was showing me she had some really nice pack covers for her and Jacob's bags, and I was like, that looks like a really good way of going about it. So the way that I'd originally packed everything into the bag was kind of like loose, like everything was in its stuff sack, but kind of just packed in there. The way that I now pack it is I have my bear bag. Woo! Oh, that's not open all the way. Okay, there we go. I put everything in here and then squeeze all the air out and roll it down, and then slide it down into my pack. And this is all of my bedding and clothing that I'm like, I want to keep it as dry as possible. And then around to fill in, you can take the little things, like little bits of food and my camp shoes and stuff, and kind of pack it in around it. So I was able to take my hammock and pack it much, everything fit in so much tighter and snugger, and it wasn't quite so like high behind my head. So I was very comfortable the last day. Okay, my pack shoes aren't in there because I wore them home. But those were one of the things that I kind of shoved down into the sides. For future reference, I'm going to bring my Keens for pack shoes. They're a little bit heavier, but if we had to do any sort of like river crossing or anything like that, I can't hike or I can't even really confidently walk around in those basically house shoes because my feet slide around inside of them. Whereas having my Keens, I at least would have had decent traction.
Strapped on TV.
Yep. So there's that, and that is, now the pack's empty. And let's open up this bear bag. So we have my puffy. Yeah. I absolutely love my puffy. It compresses so much, like super compresses. And it's a 3XL puffy, and it still compresses down that small. So I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to reach my goal weight and wear like mediums because they'll be so small. It's like little doll clothes compared to the sleeping bag that I'm wearing now. I know I'm being hard on myself, but it's, oh, this is my dirty clothes. It was really nice to have brought 2 outfits. Oh, that's not too bad. It's not good. But yeah, it's just a bunch of dirty clothes. I brought the outfit that I wore, like on day 1, which was like my 10-ounce leggings, a shirt, and then my sun shirt with the pocket. And then like bra and undies. I brought 2 sports bras, fresh pair of undies for each day, and 4 pairs of socks. And it was just really nice on day 3 to be able to put on a fresh outfit. Was really nice. I mean, it was totally filthy after about 30 minutes, but it was really nice for that little bit. And again, really looking forward to wearing, smaller clothes that provide the same amount of coverage. But I think it's going to be really interesting to experience. I'm really glad I didn't wait until my goal weight to start backpacking. Like, this is so much fun. Like, even being 100 pounds overweight, like it felt so good to be able to just take my 40-pound pack off and then it felt like floating to walk around, and I'm still 240 pounds. So it's like, whenever I've lost 100 pounds, wearing my pack is going to feel like walking around at 180, which right now would feel like being a flippin' feather. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm really looking forward to that. This is, I did not wear this shirt. It's my other sun shirt that I really like, but it does not have a kangaroo pocket. So I didn't wear it at all. I needed the pocket for carrying my water, which I may be able to make a modification to my fanny pack to where the bottle has a spot to go on the bottom of it. But it's still nice to have that kangaroo pouch for when I'm setting up tents or setting up camp. I did not use these sock liners. They just made my blisters angry. Like, I'd put them on one morning just to walk around while like setting up or tearing down camp, and it was so much nicer to just wear 2 layers of wool socks, because these are like nylon or something, and they just made me feel wet and scratchy on my feet. So I guess I don't need that stuff sack either, because I don't use all the stuff inside of it. So here you can kind of see I had put my underquilt and my sleeping bag in on top of each other, and then went through and filled in the gaps around them with, these are my sleep pants. They were perfect. They're like fuzzy warm pants. They're stinky. But I would put them on right before going into bed. That way it wasn't getting food smells on them. It wasn't getting any kind of wood smoke or anything. There wasn't me sitting on the ground. Like, I wanted to keep those as clean as possible. And they're still nasty. So sorry, Randy's just making faces at all this. This is like the 5th time he's probably heard all of this in the past like 2 hours. So sleeping bag, I am most interested in replacing my my top quilt, my under quilt, and my tarp. Whoa, the cat's exploring. Because they're the 3 heaviest things other than my backpack itself. So there we go. But yeah, this is a thermal shirt, and it's what I wore to sleep in at night. It's just like from Walmart, like just a fleece thermal layer. Oh, well, I found my sexy panties, which were super lightweight. They're the no-see, but they've got like those lace detailing on the sides. So all of day 3, I was like, I'm wearing my sexy panties. not to anyone else, but like just to me. It was a nice little morale boost. Looking good for the ents. Like, what? And then more dirty, nasty socks. There we go. But the sleeping bag and the underquilt each weigh 2 pounds. And they're only, like, my top quilt was like $20. It's a sleeping bag. It's not a top quilt. It's a sleeping bag. It was like $20 on Amazon. And it says a limit of 50 degrees Fahrenheit and a comfort level of 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So considering I've been looking at hammock gear, and their economy burrow, which is their top quilt, is like 14 ounces. No, that's their premium one. It's like 17 ounces for their economy burrow, which is just a hair over half the weight of this one, and it's rated down to 40 degrees. So
it's upgrades all around.
It's upgrades all around. Now, it's expensive, but welcome to backpacking. Like, seems to be the case. And that's everything in our little water resistant. It's not a full-on dry bag like how we would put our stuff in if we were kayaking. But between this and the rain cover and having water resistant stuff, I feel pretty okay about that. But yeah, and then my underquilt is a one tigress, and it is water resistant ripstop nylon, rated from Randy. What's this in chicken nuggets? 5 degrees Celsius to 20 degrees Celsius. Like, is that like 40 degrees?
I think so.
Fahrenheit?
Yeah. Somewhere around there.
And it only has a fill weight of 200 grams. Again, on hammockgear.com, I'm looking at their economy underquilt. Like, I can't remember what it's called. They've got like clever names for this stuff. But it is 800 fill, which is much better loft, and is suitable again to 40 degrees, but it only weighs like, again, 17 or 18 ounces. I have this written down somewhere. And I've actually been thinking about splurging and getting their economy gear that's rated to 30 degrees Fahrenheit. So, which is, I think, like 0 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure what the chicken nugget to metric system is on that, or Celsius system.
Chicken nuggets to cups of tea.
How many? Yeah, I don't know what the chicken nuggets to cups of tea conversion is on that, but right there I'd be shaving about 2 pounds off of my pack setup and sleeping warmer, because I got pretty cold on the first night when it got down to about 40, but I was using my puffy as a pillow instead of wearing it. First mistake. And my sleeping bag was inside out, which I don't know if that makes a huge difference, but it does have that like reflective inner layer or whatever. But yeah, so we'll see. I mean, I survived. It was fine. But it's nicer to not get cold though. And then with my tarp is 30 or 32 ounces. There will be a link down in the video description of my lighter pack link. Sorry, brain fart. There'll be a link to my lighter pack where you guys can actually see a breakdown, though that will be a link to my updated of what I want my gear to be. But I did also get a screenshot. I might edit that in at the end of this to kind of show what I was working with and then what I will be working with, hopefully before our next backpacking trip, which will probably be next year. We have some camping lined up, but that's completely different. Like, completely different. So, but this tarp is, I think, 30 ounces, and I had found a polysil, like a silicone polyester, or I don't know. I found a tarp on Hammock Gear that is comparable size to this one, and weighs like 14 ounces, which again, cutting the weight by half, that's really nice. And I think it will be just as durable, and it has just as many attachment points. And again, it's pretty expensive, but that's why I'm doing this vlog, is to fund my habit. But we'll see. I've got a Dear Santa list going for Christmas this year, and we'll see how well that goes out. I did use my new hammock, and it was pretty good. I need to do a ridgeline, a structural ridgeline between the ends of the hammock, because no trees will ever be exactly where I need them to be to get a perfect hang and still be able to do the straps up high enough. So if I do that structural ridgeline from the two carabiners like that are holding my hammock, then that will make it, I don't mind being like banana hammocked super hard, like claustrophobic, into being like, but I felt like just like a little pod person all wrapped up tight in their pod. I understand not everybody's into that, and if it had been hot, I would have been miserable. Like, I like being able to starfish out. Like, that's the whole reason of me really liking hammocks, is I can splay out and be like, oh yeah, this is good. Whereas in like a mummy style sleeping bag, I do get claustrophobic, especially if it's hot. So another item that I have that I did not, two items that I have and did not bring with me were my my sleeping bag liner, which would have been nice. It would have added another little layer to help keep me warm and keep all my gear clean from my stinky, filthy self being inside of it. And also, I completely left my micro light thermos at home. So I was drinking tea and cocoa out of my pot, which is like, which I am interested in replacing the pot with a 750 milliliter Toaks titanium cup, because it has a lid, and the 4-ounce fuel canister can fit inside of it. I think that pot's a bit big for what I need. Even if you and I were to both go, Randy, everything that we need to do can be accomplished out of that cup. And so we would still only need the one for the two of us. So on to this last part. I know this is like super long, and if anybody's even still watching this, thanks. But also this is very much for my, I've got another thing to go through too. That's my fanny pack, which was essential. I'm really glad I had a fanny pack this time. I'm doing
a fanny pack first.
Huh?
Do your fanny pack.
Okay. So, fanny pack breakdown. It was really nice. Again, I can't see my feet past my stomach plus a fanny pack. So that was a big reason that I was going very slow. I mean, in addition to every other possible reason for going slow, but it was difficult for me for the first 3 days to feel confident in my footing because I couldn't see on the downhill very well to go fast. So I was doing these like inching along, and it's like, that's miserable. By the 4th day, I was able to do this. Lara was telling me about, like, you just bend your knees a bit and you never properly straighten your leg out. It's like doing a little scuttle run down the hill. And that easily doubled the amount of time I was able to do, the amount of distance I was able to do in a given amount of time, because I wasn't inchworming my way painfully down the hill. I just like scuttled. And I even a couple of times, it's a lot of fun. Like you get to the bottom and you like scuttle and then go up a bit on the next hill. And so I was like, come on, momentum. Yvonne in motion is staying in motion. Huzzah, gravity. So completely ran out of bug spray on the morning of day 2.
Yeah, it was just you using it.
And it was just me using it. Yeah, Lara doesn't use deep products. I feel like I could go with mini Bics. They're those little ones. Mm-hmm. Because this is just big, and I only used one of my 2 lighters because I've got another backup lighter in my med kit. I only used this twice. I could go with a smaller one. I do prefer lighters to matches though, because I'm not very good at using matches. That's just me though. Used my chapstick. I'm gonna use my chapstick again. So good. What? Minty Brits Bees, and it smells nice. Like, empty little trash thing. Ooh, I kind of wish I had taken this out and put it on my ridgeline. That way I could, first thing in the morning, have documented the temperature, because that would have been really cool. But I did actually use my compass once for fun on the trail, but once out of a little bit of necessity, because Randy and I did not have GPS or signal.
Our phones didn't have signal.
So we were like, and Lara was like, well, the location is north of the trailhead. We went south for a while because our van had
a nice little
nice compass in it, and then our van's transmission died the evening before we hit the trailhead, so we had to go and buy a car before going backpacking, which that was already more adventure than I had signed up for. Certainly more adventure than Randy had signed up for. But this is also an emergency whistle. So I like having some nifty doodadery going on. But also, if I do get lost in the woods, instead of sitting there hollering, I'm going to pull and just whistle obnoxiously until someone comes saves me. So that was really nice. My fire tabs, this was a little baggie, and I had it full, and I used all but this last one that's broken in half, and they were perfect. Because I was saying to Lara, just because I like to talk, I suppose, it's you build the nest, and then I put the thing, like, because I did sticks, and then some twigs, and then some sticks, and then some twigs, and then some sticks, and then some, like, of the driest, lightest twigs that we had. And I kind of like opened it all up down like 2 layers, so it was a nice like little nest. And I was like, you build your nest, and then I lit the thing and put it in there, and I was like, then you lay your egg, and the fire started taking. Then I was like, and then you feed it. And I was just putting sticks in, and it works really well. But I really like these fire starters. They stink to high heaven, and I like to keep them in with my bear bag because they have like some sort of like fish oil or something smell about them. Okay, so that's that pocket. Extra carabiner because I would just, I don't know. My acorns! I found you! Okay, so I didn't take anything till we got to the very last like road, but I brought 2 acorns home. I'm gonna try to
One acorn.
I have 1 acorn. He's okay. I'm gonna electroform them and make like little adventure nuts. But I did write a poem. How did it go? While I was trekking. It's like rounding the bend by the tripping tree, planting an acorn every time I pee. Because every time I dig a hole, I planted an acorn in it. Because like there'd be like an acorn looking at me. I'm like, I can't take you home. Because I would have brought home like 10 pounds of acorns and rocks easily. But I stopped myself. So that's what I'm going to be doing with the acorns. And I found on the road this beautiful, perfect little rock that I think I'm going to try to laser engrave with the Ice Age Trail insignia and the date.
That'll be cool.
I thought that'd be neat. So we'll see. We'll see if that works. I don't actually know if our laser is strong enough or will center up enough. But I might be able to engrave it or something. We'll figure it out. Charger. Randy found me a 3-foot long charger, which was much better. Literally half of the 6-foot charger. At a gas station. God bless truck stops. That's my trekking tip. And then my Fitbit Alta charger, which I only used once, but it's really nice to be able to check and see my mileage as well as my distance. I had 2 extra allergy pills at the end of all of it, and I forgot to take my glucosamine pills on Friday morning before we hit the trail, so I have these extra as well. I did use my knife quite a bit, mostly to open stuff, but also to open my vacuum sealed mango, but also to I try to leave no trace, but that stump that was under my hammock that I fell on was right underneath where my head would be whenever I had readjusted my hammock, and I was like, it's a dead little stump and it might kill me. So I kind of just leveled it off with the ground. But this is a solid knife. Like, I'm glad to have it. Backup batteries for my headlamp that I didn't use at all, but
always good to have.
Yep. Well, and I'm trying to find that balance between, it's always good to have it, and my pack is 45 pounds, you know. So this is the bit of moleskin that we have left. Yeah. On Friday, the cap fell off while hiking. Or whenever I discovered it Saturday morning, something might have taken the cap and eaten some of the sunblock because it was just hanging off of my thing. I forgot to put it in my bear bag. But so I just put it in an extra. This had like beef jerky in it. So when it was empty, I put it in there. The next care tape, Lara used a bunch of this on Jacob's blisters. And that was really useful. This silly little thing was actually very handy because it was hot on day 3.
Fan was
handy. But no, I mean, I like it for just being a dainty feminine flower out in the middle of the forest, but also with both of the campfires that I had started, it's just so easy to sit there and go like this and get it going. Though on the second fire, I was like, it had died down whenever we went to go get water at the lake, and then we came back and it was just coals, and I was trying to build it back up again, and I was fanning and fanning and fanning, and Laura was like, here, let me. And she came in and just like, and breathed life in an instant, and I was like, I warmed it up for you. And she laughed, but I still liked having the hand fan. It's a small, nice luxury, but just sitting like down for lunch, it'll keep the bugs off your face for a bit, and it's literally half of an ounce. I will I will stand by this. Because again, like, yes, I could have gone without it, but why? Like, it's nice. I like it. I like being comfortable. Randy had gotten me a bottle of this the night before.
I thought it was a tube.
Well, this was perfect, actually. Except for the child safety cap. But I, twice a day during lunch and then at the end of the night. Though, I don't know, one morning I did it in the morning and that was pretty nice. But I basically, every chance I got to take my shoes off, I rubbed my feet down with this, and I think that helped with any potential chafing. It kept my stuff from getting like hard, like my calluses and stuff from getting hard. So between this and rubbing my feet down with vitamin E oil, I think I might have been in much worse condition if I didn't have that. So I appreciate it tremendously. It also felt really good on my ankles. Which leads me to Zico, one of the other gentlemen on the trail with us, was very kind and shared his ice packs with me. And I am definitely going to be bringing the emergency, like instant cold chemical reaction ice packs next time, because that felt really good on my ankle on the first and on the second and third night were the nights that I used them. And I think that also helped with inflammation and just keeping me in working order. I didn't use my tweezers, but I still like having them just in case. I really hate splinters. Headlamp, super useful. Used it basically every night. Which I guess that's what you're supposed to do with a headlamp. I did bring way too many. There's my ID and my debit card. But I brought way too many lens cleaning wipes. I could really, next time, I'm just going to bring one per day instead of a handful. And that was it. That's everything in my fanny pack. So I'm going to yeet these guys over here. Yeah, now we're on to... This is such a long video. I guess I'll edit it down maybe instead of just leaving it all one run along, but we'll see. This is all my trash, my carry out. I did bring too much. Like, I did not eat my mango the way that I thought. I wanted wet food. Like, I ate the heck out of my prunes, out of anything that had moisture in it, but like the dehydrated stuff, like my jerky, I was like, it just dries my mouth out. So I gave most of my jerky to Jacob, actually. And I gave most of my mango to Jacob. And then I also shared, I didn't have a sweet tooth on the trail the way that I do when I'm here at home. Like, not hardly at all. Like, I didn't eat almost any of my desserts that I had brought. Like, I had cocoa. And that was it. And that was sugar-free cocoa. But, like those coconut indulge bars, I didn't eat a single one of them. Yeah, I really thought that I would. And my Oreos, we ate up my Oreos with lunch on the last day. I gave some to, I think Lara and Zico, or Lara and Jacob. Like, I had just enough that I could have some, and then 2 other people had some. I can't remember. There was one of them that didn't want any, but that was fine. So that's trash. This is like extra little bits of, like, I didn't quite eat. I only ate one of my tortillas one night. Still have some tea that I need to break into. That vanilla chai mixed with cocoa is super good. But yeah, another thing of mango. Oh yeah, it's super yummy, but like, I don't have time to just stop. Like, I can't eat and walk at the same time. Jacob can, but I cannot eat and walk at the same time. And I also can't drink and walk at the same time. Like, it's just, I don't want to like die, or like trip and die. So, I did not eat nearly as much as I thought I would. The flavor on this raspberry jam, I didn't really like it. And we have a bunch of it now. So we'll see how that goes. It's very sticky. But like the first night, I didn't have nearly the appetite that I anticipated that I would. So, I didn't eat up my Fritos. I didn't, like, which was so weird. Like, I don't know, I was just so tired and thirsty and tired. Like, But yeah, so again, this is quite dense, but let's actually go through the food that I didn't touch. Not just the stuff that didn't get finished, but like that I didn't touch. So there's a, are you gonna eat that?
Yeah.
He takes my mango packet. Well, here, this one's opened. It's still good. Ooh, and here's some beef jerky and a sweaty cheese stick. So that was one of my snacks for the day was, and then these Adkins, which are super yummy. I just didn't crave it at all. Some more tea, another tortilla. Lunch on the last day, I had one tuna pouch with some crackers, like some Triscuits that, again, I didn't eat all of. And then the other thing, I had a peanut butter and honey tortilla, and that was really yummy. But yeah, so basically, and a good bit of the weight, actually, of what I didn't eat was these 3 coconut chocolate bars, and then a packet of mayo and a packet of taco sauce. And that would have been for, with the mayo would have been for with the tuna. So honestly, I ate most of my food. Like, this isn't that bad for excess. Now I could have definitely cut back on, I didn't need to bring, instead of having a daily allotment of tea and sugar laid out for each day, I think I'm going to do like how Lara does and just have, this is my bag of tea, and draw from that. And that way you can kind of look at it and be like, what do I want? And so it definitely would have used less bags and kept everything more contained. But yeah, the cheese sticks held up okay. This one's pretty gross looking. So, but this is also like day 6 of it sitting unrefrigerated. But this jerky looks pretty good though. Ooh, and it is. It's kind of tough though. So that's my pack shakedown. I don't have any conclusions yet. Except for...
There's a few things you can leave out.
There are. That's some good homemade beef jerky, y'all. I'm just gonna say. The only real conclusion I've drawn from this is I desperately want to go again. Which, after doing a little over 18 miles, that is not the response I had expected from myself. So, especially with, I'm sitting here with blisters that are throbbing. Yeah, I can't wait, you guys. So, thank you for watching. I already know I'm ridiculous, but let me know what you think down in the video description. And yeah, I can't wait to chat with y'all about backpacking. So, keep on keeping on, y'all.